Hi, my friend. Welcome back to Lean's Alchemy. Welcome back to the YouTube channel or the podcast, wherever you're listening today. How have you been? Today, as you can tell by the title, if you're here, you're probably not feeling your best, which is completely okay. It happens to the best of us. And me myself, I have been in a rut for about more than 2 weeks already. And actually, I was feeling so stuck, and I just went into nature and I received a beautiful message or some clarity upon the place that we're in right now. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time to share that message. So if you're feeling in a rut, if you feel stuck, or if you feel like you're just a little depressed, you're at the right address. I'm bringing the vibes today. Catch your tea, burn some candles, get yourself in the vibe, because honestly, it happens to the best of us. I feel like sometimes we are so hard on ourselves, and life can go so many places. I don't know about you, but for me, getting out of winter, it always feels so good, and it always feels like good things are about to happen and the sun is about to be out. And I feel like February, there's a lot of fun things that happen. Like, you finally get a glimpse of what it could look like, what life could look like again. And I feel like a lot of people have such a good time and so like high moments that happen. And then we get excited about the new things that are coming, and we set new goals and new intentions for ourselves. And we are just ready to fly into this new year, right? And to just start Aries season and springtime with a fresh new beginning and get ourselves going. And I had that for myself too. And especially when things are slowly building up and building momentum. And look, let's be honest. The truth about life is that sometimes things will happen. Sometimes, and not even sometimes, let's be honest, a lot of the times. We don't really control that. We don't really know how to stop that. We're not even supposed to stop that, But we don't take that in account when we set goals for ourselves. We usually just want to get going, get it all done as soon as possible, and not be set back again. And if you're feeling in a rut, or sometimes we just feel down or depressed and in a place where we feel like we can't do anything. We can't do anything. We're just paralyzed by the way we feel. And then there's this guilt that we put onto ourselves, because if you were in a place where things were already being better, or you already had that idea of, I want to move forward, I want to do this, I want to do this routine every day, I want to get these tasks done, I set this goal for myself. And all of a sudden, things happen to you that prevent you from doing what you want to do. And that gets us so fed up sometimes. Today, I want to bring a shift in perspective of what it's like to be in a rut and what it's like to feel down. Because I've been thinking about this. I always talk about this and I remind myself of this in good moments and sometimes in hard moments. But when you are really feeling down, sometimes we tend to forget it, that life is all about balance. And the place that you're in right now, even if it feels down, even if it feels stuck, or even if it feels like you have taken 10 steps back, this place where you're in right now is serving its purpose. And it's actually going to help you move forward in the right direction, even better than if this moment would not happen for you. Because I feel like personally, my life was speeding up, and something pretty overwhelming happened that really I was caught off guard, and it really set me back for a little while. And I just felt overwhelmed because I felt like, no, this was my time to go. But things happen, and sometimes we don't even take the time to realign ourselves and to ask ourselves the questions like, wait, where am I going? Like, what do I want? Do I still want the same things? What are the steps that I want to take to go where I want to go? So this period of time where we are feeling stuck sometimes, or where we feel like nothing is moving forward, I believe that there's like a bigger purpose to this moment too, where we are able to take a step back, and the universe or life or just the circumstances are realigning us and actually putting us in the exact place that we need to be for us to move forward to be in the right place at the right time. So I like, I believe in divine timing, and I just feel like, yes, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes we don't understand why we're in a certain position at a certain time, or we feel like we did something wrong, or this is not where we are supposed to be. But after a while of reflecting about this, I want you to remember that this is exactly where you are supposed to be. Nothing that is for you can be taken away from you. And everything that is happening in your life, if you want success, if you made a decision for yourself to go to a certain place, everything that happens from that moment is setting you up. The universe is conspiring for that exact thing to happen for you. But it might not look exactly what you want it to look like. It might not always feel positive or good or like a win. But good times and bad times balance themselves out. And if we would always be going and going, we wouldn't take the time that we need sometimes to realign and to ground ourselves again, ground ourselves in our values, ground ourselves in our routines. These are very important. I was so disconnected from my spiritual routines, because sometimes I just don't need them. Sometimes when life goes so fast and you feel very grounded, you just feel very good. And I was at a place where I was so at peace, and I didn't need to meditate every day anymore. I didn't feel like going to nature every day. I journaled less. Well, I still journal every day though, but not in the same amount that I used to do. For example, like a year ago, I wasn't doing breath work, like just those little things I used to do in a time where I was really in like a bad place. I wasn't doing them anymore because I was good. I was good. But we're not always going to be good. We're not always going to feel good. And sometimes these are the moments where we are allowing ourselves to get those tricks back out of our backpack, to allow ourselves to ground ourselves again, and to remember like, hey, what is still working for me and what is not? Because today is the spring equinox as I'm filming this, and let me tell you, life is about to go so fast. We're gonna be August, and you're gonna be like, whoa, wait, how did we go from March to August that fast? So see this period of time also as a moment where you're allowed to ground yourself and to remember where you want to go, because once the shots go off and we start, like, we're fucking gone. Another thing is that sometimes when we feel stuck in this rut, right, we don't even acknowledge, we don't even accept or take a moment to stand still on the fact that we are feeling a certain way and that we're feeling stuck. And this is something very important. I had that. So that thing happened to me, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not standing still. And honestly, we get hurt in life. Things are gonna happen to you. Sometimes things hurt us way harder than we want to admit to ourselves. Events happen, and that will always be the case. We are able to set a plan for ourselves. We are able to set goals for ourselves, to have a vision of where we want to go. But we have partially control over our life, because the other part of our life, it's like circumstance and other people's actions, and we can't really control everything, right? Except our way of reacting to the things that happen to us and the action that we decide to take. But sometimes things happen to us and we all get hurt. If you say you don't, you're either lying to yourself or you're lying to everyone else. But sometimes we don't. It takes time for us to face our own feelings and face our own emotions, because it's easier to like sweep them under the rug sometimes. This is something that we're all guilty of. And if you're in that place right now where you're not ready to face your emotions, or you just feel like a little weird, something has happened to you, or something happened and it's still like in the back of your mind, you haven't really processed it, but it's okay. If you don't yet want to like face that moment, face that person, face the thing that happened. That's okay to be in that place. But in the long term, at your own time, it's better to start facing that thing that happened to you, because it's only gonna create stagnation within you and within your life. We can pretend to like move on from something and like sweep it under the rug and like ignore things that happen and try to move forward, but that is not gonna be good for us. It's gonna be like a false start, or it's like moving forward but not taking care of loose ends. And I always feel like if you really want a new beginning, it's good to be centered within yourself and clear on how you feel and where you're at and how the things are really going. How I catch myself not wanting to face a certain feeling or a certain place or a certain thing is I start to consume so much media. And I was aware of it. I already know like it's not the best thing. I already know for myself if I am watching video after video, binge watching all day and just like constantly looking for something to watch because I just so badly do not want to be with my mind or my feelings at that moment. I know there's something up, and sometimes I just know that there's something up, but I still want to go ahead and, distract myself. But I do notice that it creates stagnation within my work, within my creation. The projects that I want to do, they kind of get blocked because your focus is not there anymore. You're cluttering your own mind, or the thing that is happening, it's still lingering in the back of your mind, and it starts to get heavy and it starts to build up, right? And what I don't want to do, some place that I don't want to get to is like a mental breakdown, because if you're really gonna like keep pushing that, or like an emotional breakdown, right, where your body is just be like, girl, you're not taking a break for yourself, we gotta stop you right here, right now. I do not want to get there. If you're at that place right now, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we just need distraction. Sometimes we just need to check out and live in our own little bubble. But if you really want to move forward, and some advice, something that has really helped me is just taking some space and slowly, day by day, incorporating the little things and routinous things I used to do to ground myself spiritually. So like meditating, walking in nature, watching less media. Yoga really helps too. For certain emotions, it can really help you to release those emotions. So reconnect with your body, especially, because usually when we feel like depressed or in a rut, we are so disconnected from our body. I have been in bed unapologetically, because that's just where I wanted to be. I had no energy for anything else. And if that's where you are right now, that's okay. Sometimes we need to allow ourselves to go through that, because I also feel like when we are in that place, we want to get out of it so fast, and we don't give ourselves the space we need to feel through those emotions and to stay in this place, which is actually going to be like a vicious circle that's making it harder and harder for us to get out of it. As for me, I was denying the fact that I was feeling the way I felt for a week. And then I allowed myself to feel the way I feel and I was sad, annoyed, I felt depressed, honestly, for 2 weeks after finally acknowledging. So it's not a process that you can't rush. You can't rush your emotions out of you. You can't rush the process. And for me now, like, I still had today I was in a terrible mood, like terrible, let me tell you, but I gave myself the space today to go to nature, and I feel so much better right now. I feel so much more grounded. And maybe, hopefully, starting from today, I will slowly crawl out of this rut that I'm in. But this is just a reminder to be gentle with yourself and don't rush the process, because that is only going to make it harder to get out. Sometimes we really need to allow ourselves to be patient, like give yourself some love, work through some emotions. It's not always easy. Emotions of guilt, shame, anger, disappointment, hurt, and sometimes we're also angry at ourselves, and that's okay. But remember to always return to love and patience, because you are the person you need the most. You are your biggest source of love, and as long as you're not able to come back to that place of loving yourself and being gracious with yourself and patient with yourself, it's gonna get really hard to feel good again, Nothing feels worse than feeling conflicted within ourselves and being angry with ourselves, right? I really hope that we can all remember that life is a journey and things are always gonna look different, and it's okay not to be okay. And we are sometimes we really are the people making it hardest on ourselves, and we are so hard on ourselves for having emotions, for feeling things. But it's these emotions that really make us feel life. Imagine not having any emotions, And I've said this several times, duality and balance is, for me, life is really about duality and balance, and the universal law. Everything is balance. Good times required bad times. If you think you've been good, but now you've been really low, know that there's an amazing time coming ahead. Because for me, it has been very frustrating, because I feel like generally, I have been in a very going through a dark place over the past 5 years. But I know it's a collective energy. I know for a lot of people all over the world, and for everyone almost, we have been in a very challenging place over the past 5 years, where distraction or substances or toxic relationships have been like a way of getting through that and moving through that, or things that we have encountered in the past 5 years, because we got to know ourselves, and it were hard times. And I have been feeling in my soul that this year is a flip year, and that there's amazing things coming. And I have felt this for so long. It was the start of the year has been so good for me, and it already felt like the energy was so good in the air, and there was this hope. Because I say this a lot, I know it's scary to hope sometimes. I know it's scary to hope. I know it's scary to dream and to believe in something that you can't prove to yourself, or that hasn't materialized yet. And for me, it gets really scary sometimes when things go good and I feel like, see, it's coming. And then all of a sudden, everything crashes and burns. And that's how I've been feeling over the past few weeks, where I haven't felt that low in a very long time. And it almost feels like, oh, it was all an illusion. It's never gonna happen. But that in itself is an illusion, because this time is only a short period. And I feel like this was exactly what I needed for me to realign with myself, to really come back to myself, to really be grounded, and to get ready and prepared, and to learn some lessons, honestly, that I still needed to learn about setting boundaries and choosing what is best for me, and respecting my own intuition, thoughts, feelings. When you don't do that, that's how we get in these hurtful situations. Honestly, most of the time it's because we haven't listened to our intuition, or we haven't set our boundaries or followed them, or we just could do better for ourselves. And that's a lesson I had to learn. And I feel like this was a very hard lesson for me to learn right before bigger things are coming, So I hope that's a little hopeful note at the end of this video, that, nothing is lost. Know that brighter days are coming. The sun is truly coming, and nothing can stop that from happening. So in your life too, the sun is on its way. So if you're feeling a little dark today, know that will go away pretty soon, okay? Damn, we rhyming and shit. By the way, thank you to everyone that has checked out my dossier liberation. That was a project I've been working on for the past 6 months, and it means a lot to me. Your reactions have blown me away, gotten me so emotional, and I didn't really know what the effect was gonna be on people, but it has been a crazy ass journey for me myself. But you know, let's keep that for another video. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on my channel here on YouTube. So yeah, feel free to check that out. And thank you so much for being here. Take good care of yourselves. I love you so much. And remember, you are love, you are light, and you are loved.